Hello and welcome back to From a Head Teacher's Perspective with me, Paul Urry. Metacognition means thinking about thinking. It involves pupils noticing what they know, identifying what they don't know, and choosing strategies to help themselves learn more effectively. It is not a personality trait, nor is it reserved for older pupils. Even very young children can learn to ask, what am I trying to do? How will I do it? How well is it going? What should I try next? Research shows that metacognition is one of the most cost-effective and impactful approaches for improving learning. When pupils think metacognitively, they plan with more intention. They monitor their success more accurately. They are able to identify and correct errors sooner. They can use strategies more effectively. They persist through difficulty and transfer learning more successfully to new contexts. For excellent teachers, metacognition is not an add-on. It is a core component of expert instruction. Self-regulated learning, the partnership of cognition, motivation, and emotion. Metacognition is one component of a broader skill, self-regulated learning. Self-regulated learners demonstrate three interconnected behaviours: cognitive, choosing and using strategies; metacognitive, monitoring and evaluating their learning; motivational, believing effort matters, seeing mistakes as information and persisting through challenge. Excellent teachers help pupils develop all three. They understand that learning independence is not built through freedom alone. It is built through structure, clarity, and practice. Pupils need explicit teaching, modelling, and gradual release before they can navigate learning efficiently on their own. Building metacognition through explicit modelling. Pupils cannot self-regulate if they cannot see what self-regulation looks like. Excellent teachers, therefore, model metacognitive strategies explicitly, narrating their thinking so pupils can understand and imitate it. They model how to analyse a question, identify relevant knowledge, plan a sequence of steps, monitor for errors, evaluate progress, adapt when confused, and decide when to seek help. This thinking aloud reveals the invisible processes behind expert performance. Instruction that includes modelling transforms metacognition from something abstract into something practical. Teaching strategies explicitly, not assuming pupils will find them. Pupils do not naturally choose effective strategies. Without guidance, they may reread rather than retrieve, copy rather than think, or rush rather than plan. Excellent teachers, therefore, teach strategies directly: how to summarize, how to annotate, how to make notes efficiently, how to plan a written answer, how to use retrieval instead of rereading, how to check work systematically, how to break down multi-step problems, and how to ask productive questions. The goal is not to overwhelm pupils with dozens of strategies, but to teach a small, powerful toolkit, used consistently across subjects. Independence grows from clarity, not abundance. Encouraging pupils to monitor and evaluate their learning. Independence requires pupils to become accurate judges of their own understanding. Unfortunately, pupils often overestimate what they know, mistaking familiarity for mastery. Excellent teachers help pupils differentiate between I recognize this and I understand this. I did it once and I can do it independently. I copied this and I learned this. They use prompts like, what part was the hardest? What mistake did you correct today? How would you explain this to someone else? What strategies help the most? What will you do differently next time? These questions strengthen metacognitive awareness and deepen learning. Creating routines that build independence gradually. Independence is not created by leaving pupils alone. It is created by gradually releasing responsibility through clear stages. 1. I do, the teacher models. 2. We do, the teacher and pupils practice together. 3. You do, guided, pupils work with scaffolds and support. And 4. You do, independent. Pupils apply the learning without help. Excellent teachers do not rush these stages. Independence without security leads to failure. Security without independence leads to dependency. The aim is balance. Over time, scaffolds fade. Pupils learn to start tasks without hesitation, maintain focus, solve problems without relying on the teacher, and use strategies automatically. Teaching pupils how to handle difficulty. Struggle is part of learning, but only productive struggle leads to growth. Excellent teachers help pupils respond constructively to difficulty. They teach pupils to pause, breathe, and reset. Ask themselves clarifying questions. Identify what the problem is really asking. Break the task into smaller steps. Use resources strategically. Revisit prior examples. Change strategies when stuck, and persist without panic. They normalize mistakes. Errors are information. They praise effort with precision. You tried multiple strategies. They emphasize the process, not just the outcome. This builds resilience rooted in competence, not blind effort. Creating classroom cultures that support independence. Metacognitive and independent learners flourish in a culture where mistakes are learning opportunities. Pupils expect to think hard. Effort is valued as part of mastery. Teachers talk, model clarity, curiosity, and reasoning. Pupils support one another's thinking. And classroom routines reduce unnecessary cognitive load. And this helps independence becoming safety, not risky. Excellent teachers build cultures which makes independence natural. Using this unit as a reference, return to these guiding questions when planning or reflecting. What strategy are you teaching pupils to use today, and how will you model it? How will pupils monitor their learning during the task? What opportunities will they have to evaluate their progress? Is the task designed to encourage independence or dependence? What scaffolds need to be in place, and when will they be removed? How will you help pupils handle difficulty productively? Does your classroom culture normalize thinking, effort, and reflection? When teachers use these questions regularly, metacognition stops being a concept and becomes a habit. Some reflection prompts for excellent teachers. Think. In which area of your subject do pupils struggle most to regulate their learning. What contributes to this? Plan. Choose one metacognitive strategy or routine to model explicitly tomorrow. Act. Teach it, practice it, and encourage pupils to reflect on how it helped them learn more effectively. Using the accompanying self-study workbooks, this will help you capture these reflections, respond to the prompts, and identify one or two focused actions to take forward. Over time, these small, deliberate reflections build stronger practice, clearer intent, and a more confident personal identity. Thank you. And until next time, goodbye.